Put your shoes on outside. You don't got to put them on in here. Get out.
Frank Castle moment.
Okay guys, so I'm going to try to do this in one run. I'm not really familiar with speaking into the camera, and I do want to make this a lot faster than my first video. I do want to mention one thing. I understand that I'm questionable. I understand that you guys don't know anything about me. You guys saw a 20-minute video about me, and then you guys saw a 2-hour stream that ABBA, and the topic was about me. So I understand the onslaught, I understand the skepticism, and I understand the comments that I'm reading, and I get the perspective. ABBA's stream last night, and I do feel like there were some consistencies in the beginning. We were in love, I got pregnant, we decided to keep it, we went back and forth. And then he goes into this audio, which
conversation that me and her had.
First, I feel like I was in a triangle of like, okay, if I don't have the baby, then things can continue.
So that audio, I feel like was misused, and I think in the video or in the comments there were a lot of like, oh, she's like manipulating. This conversation was the first conversation ABBA and I had after the whole month of us not talking. So I had the abortion a week before, and then he hit me up on Instagram, and then things calmed down. He actually asked for a phone call, and then he recorded this. I was very emotional over this conversation. There was no manipulation going on. It was truly from the heart. I was saying sorry about the abortion in general, because I did feel sorry in my heart about the abortion. I was saying sorry to him because I know that everything kind of imploded really quick. So talking to him, seeing him again, like on FaceTime at the time, it was a very emotional moment. I think the way he used it was, I don't know, I think it was a little misused, but this was a very intimate conversation. And everything I'm saying in here was true from my heart, telling him that I was confused and that I just didn't expect it to end this way.
Going on with ABBA, but if I have a baby, pregnancy happened, I don't think I knew this would happen, but sorry.
Believe you what I wanted while letting you know that I would have your back to the best of my ability.
And then it kind of made sense now while he was responding in the way that he was responding. And I think someone said, like, of course the other person, if they know that they're recording, is going to be on their best behavior. He said that I can play the phone call from the pregnancy, and I might not be saying much either, but it makes sense now why he's talking like
Where
this.
choose. And I'm just saying what I felt differently. I'm just saying what I is to have to deal with somebody change their mind. Now I can't stress it to you guys enough how fucking debilitating and mentally it's a bit loserish to be honest to have a way. I was just playing it like I'm wild. The way she was talking during the video was crazy. And at first I wasn't understanding that, but I did my research on what hormones and pregnancy do to a woman, and your boy learned some things. So my own red lines weren't very difficult, okay? The two things I asked her is like, I don't want any kind of baby mom business. What does that mean?
Yeah.
But to be involved with somebody you can't walk away from, and they push your fucking buttons, and then you say something, and they act like they never did nothing. I remember I even sent her a message one time.
Okay, I do want to say something about this, and I do feel like the things he's saying can definitely be true, but the things I'm going to show you that he said, I don't think people can really push people to say those things.
And
This is about the pregnancy.
for me, this is like a point where I'm starting to think, like, maybe I don't want to be law when I would think about ending things. Okay? Once she thinks it's acceptable. She didn't just also tell me that she was
So I'll get to the
you're
pregnancy
out.
right now.
First of all, I'm like, when do you want to keep?
I'll get to the pregnancy and why I decided to go back and forth and why I decided to break up in a second, but now he
This day one, two, says, what do you mean cut me out? Like, so I text her very calmly. I'm like, call me. For me, this is like a point where I'm starting to think, like, maybe I don't want to be law with her in any shape or form. Because not only can she constantly change her mind on me, but she can tell me I'm not part of things whenever she wants, if she thinks it's acceptable. She didn't just.
So, like, I guess I don't want it to be like tit for tat, but when I would say something like, oh, well, you don't have to come anymore because I was like being emotional, or like, I'm like, maybe you shouldn't come, he would take that as, like, oh, you're cutting me out, and then it would just explode from there. Me saying that, like, emotionally would just take him to another place and be like, oh no, now you're quitting, and then so now it's over, and then it would escalate. And that's actually exactly what he's talking about here. He's talking about a specific trip.
She also canceled all her plans, college plans, Christmas plans, New Year.
Oh, okay. So we were talking about here. He had been really distant with me, and then I was like, hey, maybe you don't have to come for Christmas or New Year's, because he was being very distant with me, and I was like, like, don't worry about it. And he's telling me I'm like cutting it off, and so now he gets really upset. The only thing I can explain when I'm explaining this is ABBA's threshold for getting upset is low, and that's the only way I can explain it. So he's like saying like I'm playing victim. He's saying like I don't hold myself accountable. He's saying if I'm being emotional that I'm being a victim. you know, it can probably be in the middle somewhere, but Abba does get angry really quick, which is one of the reasons why I went back and forth with the pregnancy and all of our fighting and the way he would talk to me in conflict, which we'll get
Here's
into.
I was like, yo, you know what, Jane? From there, she gets very upset with me, considering ending things between the two of us. And this is something that she would do throughout when I would think about ending things, okay? And I don't like showing this because to me, this is something that should stay private. She told me that she was thinking of harming herself, okay? Now, this is not the first time, this is now the second or third time she's done this. All right. Okay. So, you guys can see the messages. I can't explain to people what it's like to be in the scenario where you think your partner's gonna kill themselves and they're pregnant, which is like, but I'm literally frantically texting her, triple texting, quadruple texting, but I mean, again, if I stop someone killing themselves, I'm not gonna bother, okay? You're gonna read the bread. You see me saying, you're coming out of pregnancy, you're cutting me out of the abortion, you're coming out of the relationship, like, I'm explaining my frustration, like, and she says, I'm gonna kill the baby. Okay? I called the cops. I'm not even gonna bother this. And
What Abba said, there are a few things that Abba said here. He says that I manipulate him when he's breaking up with me as self-harm. And that is so far from the truth. The text messages you are seeing are my text messages. The only time it ever got that close was when Abba would tell me, you killed the baby, or go ahead and kill the baby. And I do have to put some background on this. You know, the first reason why Abba blocked me on August 7th was because I told him I wasn't ready to date yet. I can pull it up if needed. I wasn't ready to date yet because a few months before, my sister had almost passed away. I had to take 3 to 4 months off work, and I had to rehabilitate her. She can't walk anymore. She has an addiction. Abba said that, and a part of her addiction really messed up her mobility. I told him after that I wasn't in the state of mind. I need to catch up. I missed 3 months off work. I saw my sister go through what she went through, and then there also had been a lot of suffering in the family at the time. Abba knew that, and we had talked middle of July, and he had been wanting to meet me. August 7th, he got upset and blocked me because I said, you know, I'm not in the right state of mind to do anything right now. I'm still recovering. I have a kind of like a nihilistic view towards life. I didn't tell him that. I eventually told him that. But he is saying here that I said I wanted to harm myself or kill myself because of that, because he wants to break up with me. This is the same thread, the I'm going to kill the baby thread, okay? So I blocked your email. That's when he blocked me again. I blocked the new number you're using. Stop contacting me. Speaking of blocking, I don't think Abba ever addressed the blocking. Why is he blocking me 3 weeks after we just met because I can't go on a date with him? Why is he constantly blocking me? Yeah, he never addressed the Montreal flight. He actually really didn't address the video very much, like with the things he said to me, but stop contacting me. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop contacting you. Sorry for everything, I get it. We had gotten to a big fight, and he blocked me. And our fights are not simple. I know that he says our fights are regular relationship stuff. I can pull them up if that ever needs to happen. He then says, good, do what you gotta do and kill the child. Bye. I'm hormonal. He knows that I had guilt in the first place about thinking that. And again, I'm not trying to be perfect here at all. Honestly, this whole thing kind of seems like it wasn't a good relationship. We could have definitely done better. So I understand how I look. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I know that people use mental health as an attention thing or as a manipulation thing. And that's another reason why I had mentioned my sister, because after taking care of my sister, truly, if I'm being completely honest and human here, and I know people are going to be like, oh, like she's bipolar, but I'm just being honest. After seeing all that suffering with my sister and within the family, I did have a negative view through, like, my view of life was nihilistic. I was like, you know, like, why are we here? You know, you feel a little bit like helpless and pessimistic, and that was my view, and Abba knew that. I can pull up the two times I had ever thought about doing it, and each time was Abba saying, go ahead and kill the child, or go kill the baby. So that's what he says. I'm already like saying sorry, thanks for everything, and then we talk about more things, and then I'm going to kill the baby. Remember what he said, because he's like, go ahead and kill the baby, and then now that triggers something, and then now we're kind of arguing, and then now I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna kill the baby. But it was like, I was reiterating what he's saying. I didn't say that out of nowhere. I'm saying it because that's what he said. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to kill a baby. You're right, kind of thing. And he completely misses and deletes the part or crops out the part where he basically triggers me into this spiral of feeling horrible and upset. And I'm not playing victim. I'm saying, why did he leave that out? He's saying it, first he said it because he's saying that I self-harm because he's breaking up with me. And then the next thing he's saying is like, I'm saying I'm killing the baby out of nowhere. That's not what happened. He completely just changed the narrative on this. And then I can show you another time. Again, embarrassing for me. Doesn't make me look completely unstable. Oh, this is about the counseling. Was this one right here. Thank you for using the abortion. The one thing I actually tear about every day. Maybe you'll remember that. You get to bring it up every fight. I don't know if I necessarily bring it up every fight. Oh, sometimes I say like, why are, like you had left me during the abortion. Thank you for yesterday. I deserved it. But if I mention it, it's a tool. Thank you for this weekend. Fuck you. You killed our child. Thank you. Now I'm going to harm myself now. Again, embarrassing for me to say. He says that I've done it because he tried to leave me. That is a complete lie. Again, doesn't make me look good. I just have to be honest here. But he
and maybe not to hold that L, but I can also say I've never been through this before. Never had someone push me to this point. My girl here.
Let me ask him to talk some more.
You know what I mean? My girl here, she pushed me to that point. All right.
Oh, he's talking about the stuff he's said to me. And Abba, if you have proof of me pushing you to these points, please show them. Abba would say stuff about my mom, like, obviously now I just look like a girl with trauma, okay? Like, all this stuff's not really supposed to be out there. I guess started it, but Abba would say things about my mom, and he would say, my mom used to physically abuse me until my nose bled, and he would say stuff like, I'm laughing because you're going to be a horrible mother, and I'll look back to what you said and like how you're going to be like your mom. Right here, you might be like your mom 100%. Turned out worse somehow. Oh, wanting your mom crazy. How folks just repeat themselves. I want to mention that Abba cannot pull up one message of me ever talking to him this way. If he does, I ask him to please post it. One horrible insult, other than me saying like, other than me saying like, I thought you were different. Here's a few other things he would say to me that he can't ever pull up me matching him in this way. He says, I was like, compared to using that my mental health against me, compared to telling someone you wouldn't care if I was standing on an edge of a bridge, which he has told me before. Compare that to say that I'm going to be worse than the mother who abused me. Compare that to telling me to kill myself. Sorry. Compare that to telling me to off myself. Compare that to telling me you'd look at the child in the face and tell them they're horrible. Compare that to yelling and screaming while I'm hyperventilating on the phone. And again, he's just going to say that I play victim all the time. How many times can someone really play victim? And okay, paint me as a victim, but also please look into this as if maybe have a different perspective, as if I'm not the victim and that he might be someone that might be difficult to work with and who gets upset easily and has this idea of how people should act, and if it's not that way, then they're playing the victim. Compare that to kicking me out of your house while you ignored me for 3 days in Spain, which he did. He kicked me out of his house while I was pregnant in Spain, and we can get into that, and he's going to talk about his side, and I have my perspective. I don't know if it's worth going back and forth. Compare that to telling me off the baby multiple times. Compare that to telling me, oh, you're not very Christian of you, and mocking me. And that's something he would always do too. He would always just mock me being a Christian. And one of the other things he kept saying was like, oh, I try to come off as like this super Christian. I don't. I tell him I'm a Christian. Towards the end of the relationship, after the abortion, I was like, I have some shit to deal with, and I definitely need to look at myself in the face about the abortion. But he'll always say things like, you judge a Christian with a superiority complex. I don't have to worry going forward just to avoid fake homo Christians who have a superiority complex. My fault for saying that and listening to myself and homo Christian. Before he made the stream, he actually called me, and I told him that the catalyst of why I'm even creating this video in the first place was because of our last interaction. And there's a reason why I ended up mentioning this. And I'll try to find that. Oh, why am I doing this? He actually texted me, and this is when he saw the video that went out yesterday. All the drama you'll stir up is worth not having you tethered to me for a lifetime. Hi, Abba. It looks like I'm unblocked because you blocked me. After my last interaction, I couldn't believe you treat me so horrible once again. I'm not a doormat. I had to stand up for myself. I have every screenshot of you ever telling me you worse than my mother. You abused me, and other worse messages and long text threads, and how our interactions went, and how you treated me awful, and I always forgave. Do whatever you want. I know you'd always do it. I wasn't until our last interaction. I was never going to go out with any of this until our last interaction, which I will get into in a moment. But we'll go through this really quick.
You work things too close to the person. You motherfucking fight.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so he's talking about the baby and what his terms were, and me going back and forth about the baby. I didn't realize how much I missed this in the last video. People were just like, "Oh, you just left. You just decided to go back and forth." I did not just decide to break up with Abba because of the baby. Abba, like I said, no one sees Abba this way because no one is Abba's girlfriend. Your partner triggers something different in your nervous system than your friends, than your family. Abba is not nice when he's upset. Not physically, but emotionally and mentally. It is, he said that he was fucked up by this. I was also fucked up by this. And that's like my truth. When you're pregnant, your body becomes primed to seek security and seek safety. And people will cling on to their partner, even if they're not the right match. Our differences were so profound that I knew that staying with him was not sustainable for the child. And you can see that in the insults that I showed you. You can see that in, like him, he would always tell me to like off myself and everything like that. And I'm going to show you a clip of the video here of
wanted integrity, and even when we fight, I don't say half the stuff that you say. You regret everything that you say when we fight. You know that you regret everything, and knowing how you are, you're going to regret tonight and how you've been with me.
Okay, I'm gonna show a completely different video on that also, but that can kind of show you. Again, he's gonna.
I don't feel bad at all. She okay, and I'm gonna just move this up. Then her friends are messaging. Look what this. How great. Now from her perspective, what she's doing.
So that what I'm gonna say is.
Clown. You guys.
Okay, so there are 4 numbers here that I want to address. Abba, so the night I broke up with him, and now, when he had blocked me, again, the reason why I had been going back and forth is because Abba's and I's conflict were so terrible, and we were fighting all the time. There were so many incompatibilities. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel safe. He would yell, he would scream. I was pregnant in Montreal. He kicked me out. He has his reasons for it. I was pregnant. I had no signal outside. I was locked out the apartment in Canada weather. That was the fight I was talking about. And that was like, again, a pivotal moment. And when I got back, he was just, I would express how I'm feeling, and he would just sit there and look at me while I was like upset or crying. And I'm playing victim. And then he would just be like, "Oh, you're crying? Well, like, you deserve to cry," kind of thing. Like, it was just mocking and ridicule.
First, I was having
And with this,
block because
okay.
she would not stop. The harassment was crazy, guys.
So this was one night. All the blocking before that I showed in the other example was his common behavior of blocking me. This night, whether it's justified or not, was the night I had blackmailed him, which I never did. Again, I felt like I had to leave the relationship. When you listen to the phone call, you'll get an idea of the anger that he has and like our incompatibilities. And so this was the night of the blackmail, which I never end up talking to Myron. I never end up sending it. My friend, 2 of these numbers are mine. I have like a Google Voice number, 1 other number, and then my cousin and my friend. And now these phone numbers are up here. But the phone numbers are on there, which not very good. But there were only 4 numbers. Could that have seemed a lot? Is that a lot for a pregnant girl to try to get a hold of her boyfriend who doesn't want anything to do with her? Abba expressed all of his story about like me cutting him off and everything. There was my story. And my story is, I was with Abba. I was experiencing a lot of fights, a lot of ways he was communicating with me, degrading me, ways of conflict. There were so many incompatibilities. I did not want to raise a child in that environment. And even if he did not want to, and that's why I was going back and forth with the abortion. Again, it was only 3 times. He made it sound like a lot. And the other thing that he said was that I tried to contact him multiple times. This was the only time that night that I tried to contact him. But throughout here, he made it seem like...
I don't know if it was like through text. I don't...
I think
Okay, so during this part, he says that I tried to contact his family, his friends, and his job. Abba, please show evidence of that. The only person I ever reached out to, I think he was talking about the Abba and Preach page, which I think like his assistant saw, so I think that's one of the people, and then Preach. I contacted Preach that last day, and I never contacted anyone again. I let it go, and I promise you, he does not have proof from I think June 13 until he reached out to me, which was February 4th. Abba, if you have any proof of me contacting other people other than Abba and Preach, let me know, or please show them. I promise you, he won't have any of that.
my best. And
Again, and this phone call is the same phone call from the beginning, so he's just splitting it up. And again, it's a conversation. I was actually happy to hear from the Abba, even if he had abandoned the situation, and I was feeling emotional about everything. That month was really dark, and I'm sure it was really dark for Abba too.
That's not what I was.
So that, like, I'm not even gonna address that. I'm not perfect in the way like how fluent I speak, and I was saying a lot. And realizing now that he's recording, he didn't say anything, and I was like, I felt a lot, and like, I don't think I said I regretted my apology. I was like, please say something because I'm hurt. Also, like, I would like if you said something too.
Same.
He's painting the narrative that I'm suicidal and crazy. He's painting the narrative that I do that when we break up. The only times I've done it is when he weaponized something he knew that was very sensitive to me, which was the abortion, and then he would say like I would kill the baby. I think there's one more example of that that I didn't find, but if he has other examples of me using it while we broke up, then he would be able to pull that up.
Or could have ever imagined. So, with the shock and everything, all I wanted was I ran over and
in this audio,
I'm sorry
I am saying sorry to him because I was genuinely sorry. It was a very complicated situation.
that a phone call with you.
destroy you. Like, that's so, like, you guys hear me here. Off.
Okay, so Preach.
Recognize
So
the, like,
Preach here says when I reached out to him.
but there's just certain things that she did. She just doesn't recognize the gravity of it or what kind of betrayal it is.
Okay, maybe I am blind to those things. Abba is also blind to those things. Abba is not perfect in this either. There's a reason why I decided to break up with him while I was pregnant. So I know Abba had already painted me in this light, but just please understand that Abba might not be who he is portraying.
Go ahead.
Just in the way that you contacted me, you were off. Off. Why contact me? I felt like she wanted to use me. That's what it felt like. It was weird. Like I don't know what you're trying to do here, but it's hella weird.
Yep.
The making the rounds to contact the others. It's not you contacted one person, bitch. You made the rounds to contact everybody.
That's what I don't
Some dumb
understand.
people fell in the trap.
See, that's what I don't understand. They're saying I tried to contact everybody. Please show where I've tried to contact everybody. Now it's just like exaggeration and a little bit of a distortion. The only people I tried to contact during this part was Preach and the Abba and Preach page. There was nobody else. Abba, please show proof of that. I'm like begging you to show proof of that.
Fit, fresh.
Oh, and then he was talking about Myron. I don't know how else to say. That was an emotional reaction from me while I was pregnant and while he was leaving, while he always stonewalls me and blocks me. I was never going to do it, and I never did do it. Even Abba, please show who else I had contacted in between the time of Preach and in between the time of February 4th.
You contacted everybody.
Everybody.
That is not. I didn't know what to do. I think one of the last things that you told me in that text that you sent me was, I think I know how I'm going to proceed. That's what you chose to do?
Okay, I wish Preach would show what I sent him. I wish Preach, he might still have messages. I deleted the messages because at that time I was like, I don't really want to see anything. I was so respectful. I think you saw it. I was like, hey, sorry to, in the first video, I was like, sorry to come at you like this. There's just things that I need to show or talk about. Abba can lash out. I really need help with this situation. Again, I'm pregnant. This is just my last attempt to talk to the father. I actually do have the audio that he's talking about. And in this audio, it says, like, I would never do anything to hurt Abba, nothing in my phone to hurt Abba, regarding the phone call, which he says I can play, and the text messages. That all changed after my last interaction with Abba. So during this time, I really meant it. But, the last interaction that I had with him completely changed. But this is what Preach is talking about. Hey, Preach, I had the last few hours to think about a few things, and I think I have a little bit more clarity about what I need to do moving forward. And again, my reach out to you was just my final attempt to reach out to anything to try to find some ground on what the right thing to do was regarding the baby. And so I just do want to leave Abba with this one thing. And it was, I told him I do care about his future and his peace, and I meant that. And there were a lot of things that happened. And I don't want to leave him thinking that there's, I have anything in my phone that I would use or put out there. I had a knee-jerk reaction to record a pretty brutal phone call a few days ago and to kind of document some messages based off of how I felt like I was being treated. But he doesn't have to worry about me having that. There's nothing in me that would ever want to disrupt his life, to be honest, despite me being hurt. And I don't mean this in a passive-aggressive way at all. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. So again, he doesn't even have to worry about anything existing regarding that stuff. And again, my last attempt to just figure out some clarity, and I think I have that, so thanks. That's the audio that Preach is talking about. What he's talking about. How come they didn't mention anything else? I wish he would pull up. Okay, so again, this is the same conversation that we had. It's all one conversation. And everyone's like manipulative and stuff like that. I'm not trying to manipulate someone I didn't speak to for 1 month. I'm honestly just happy to talk to this person to figure out everything, all the questions I had, all the feelings I had. So I was emotional.
Toll was taken on you, you know, and I was not the love. Thank you for everything. I know you gave me everything. I'm sorry for everything. I'll be okay. Don't worry about me. I love you. Don't want to text me anymore. I say, I saw your message. I thought of everything. I appreciate you, and I say I'll be rooting for you from afar. Okay. Now, good message, right? While we were talking during this period, she was really trying to set up meetings, which I think she tried to set up like 2 or 3, and I kept saying no every time.
Abba, that is not true either. We were trying to see each other. Abba, February, when we had reconnected, after that phone call that he's playing, we decided to move forward February to get closure, to wrap things up if needed to see if anything can even possibly be resolved. Were we talking couple-ish? Yes. Were we wanting to see each other? Yes. I have that here. Abba, this is February 10th to February 13th. He tells me he's going to see me. So why is he telling you guys that I'm just always trying to see him? Sorry, I gotta chill. Out of the way. It was just kind of frustrating watching this. And then the other thing was like, I'm asking you to do counseling. Okay, so then we had like talked about counseling, and this is like, yeah, me being like, I don't feel safe because of everything that happened and like how he can react on the phone call, which I'll be showing. But oh yeah, and so we weren't really together because we were talking about counseling, and he makes it sound like, oh, this message is from March, so he's making it seem like I am talking about this. So everything's just, the timeline's all switched. It's to create a different narrative. I don't know why he did this. I thought that this is very unfair. And again, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the narrative is completely changed. Me contacting everybody, me committing suicide, me wanting to just only see him. That I kept changing my mind back and forth about the baby because I just wanted to do that, and like if there was no reason for it. Abba can be very venomous. Text messages that I pulled up. I mean, I already showed you the stuff he'd say about like my mom, and he was constantly telling me like, fuck you, you killed the baby. He would always like use the baby against me, and he knew how much it hurt me at the time. And then he would always say like, you're doing this fake suicide thing, and then he used the suicide as if I did it while he was trying to break up with me. I went there if I was like killing the baby or sorry, I only went there when he would say that I was like offing the baby or like you already killed the baby. I promise you again, he's not going to be able to pull up any proof of me doing that because of a breakup. It's making me look completely manipulative. I got to that state of mind because I was already feeling low about having the abortion, thinking about the abortion. Do I seem perfect there? Do I seem a little unstable there? Yes, I'm pregnant with someone 4 months in, and I'm not sure about him. And things are super rocky. And he gets very angry. He gets very upset. He says the worst things. Okay, so he talks about this, and this is important.
Myself in our relationship, and I realize I have a hard time being myself with you. I don't want to go back there. I know you don't want me there. Still, I want to support you from afar. I wrote that last time, right? You definitely want me there, but it doesn't matter. I will always support you from afar. I learned so much from our relationship, and I know how.
I don't know why he keeps saying it like I'm just like all over him. He wanted to meet up also. There was a point in February. Oh, sorry, wrong one. There was a point in. Yeah, like I showed you that he had booked flights to see me. That was February.
And we had things on good terms, in my opinion.
Apparently not, bro.
I know. But there's a message.
And I will tell you why we didn't end up on good terms, which was the catalyst to this entire thing.
Okay, because you guys are going to see, like, I sent a message that says, hey, I know you haven't pressured me at all. I pressured you concerned. I thought about seeing you many times, thought about us together, but in the end, I can't bring myself to do it. Now, how much I love you, I lost myself in our relationship, and I realized I have a hard time being myself with you. I don't want to go back there. I know you don't want me there. Still, I want to support you from afar. I wrote that last time, right? You definitely want me there, but it doesn't matter. I will always support you from afar. I learned so much from our relationship, and I know how good your heart is, okay? I thought about her the exact same way. Here she is, happy birthday in advance. I'll be thinking about you on the day. She sent me this like months in advance before my birthday. I'm sorry for coming off inconsiderate or insulting or insensitive on the call. You're right, I was. My heart's been debilitating, heavy. It was selfish of me, and you gave me everything. I'm sorry for everything. I'll be okay. Don't worry about me. I love you. Don't have to text me anymore. I said, hey, I saw your message. I thought of everything. Appreciate you, and I said, I'll be reading for you from afar. Okay. Now, good message, right? While we were
Okay, so those messages were the last messages in March. Everything was good in March. We were able to have like a mutual respectful relationship, which I actually felt like I tried to fight for really hard. I had broken up with Abba, and of course he wasn't happy with it. He tried to understand me. Towards the end of the relationship, I did go through a period of like the bargaining stage of grief, and I was like, oh, maybe we can be back together. And then he was like, no. But again, like that was me being emotional, and I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. It's not reasonable. That's what I'm saying in that message. Like, I know, like it might seem insensitive, like for me to even ask that as like, we're moving on.
talking during this period, she was really trying to set up meetings, which I think she tried to set up like 2 or 3, and I kept saying no every time.
During the month of February 10th, he sets up the appointment, or he sets up the flight. Hey, San Francisco. Oh, right here, San Francisco is March 26th. I don't think I have other stuff, but he's making it seem like I'm trying to do all of the meeting up. There was a point where, like, after we had reconnected, I did want to see him. I'm not gonna lie, despite all the BS that was going on, you still have this love for this person, and I did want to see him. And he booked an appointment for like around the time of Valentine's Day, and then the day before he just unbooked it, or he canceled it, because I was saying like, hey, like sometimes you get really mean, and sometimes you get really like sometimes I get scared of you, and to be honest, that's how I felt, and he hated that. But he couldn't see why I felt that way, which was one of the reasons why I broke up with him. And so now the month of February was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of like tension. It's kind of the same cycle as it was before. But you can't say that I was just trying to meet up all the time. I was upset when he canceled the flights, but this is so wrong. Here he sends me this picture, and I'm like, of his flight, and then I'm like super excited. February.
And I canceled on all 3. She told me something that was very interesting. You guys remember how she presented herself as first Christian woman, a very good humor, very chill.
You said to you.
You see her Instagram, like, very chill. So, like, this is the person, she would never court the attention of another man. If another man approaches her, blah, 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 all this other stuff. She was, like, overcompensating. And she was very territorial and jealous. And to give you guys some context.
I wasn't overcompensating. I said that I am defensive over my relationship, and I was not territorial or compensating. There was one girl that he followed, which was like an Asian girl that was like twerking. I never asked him to unfollow this Dominican girl that he's going to talk about.
You guys go to my Instagram. I follow like 43 people, okay? Most of them
He's exaggerating this also.
influencers or artists or
Sorry. If there's any other proof of me being territorial or jealous, please show that.
my family members.
But not me.
Not him, yeah. So you're not an artist, a family member, or... So,
Our friend. Asian man.
I just don't think it's a good look. I just don't think it's appropriate. Don't do it. Why am I laughing? The whole time this lady had a Facebook, Instagram, but she was like following hundreds of dudes.
Okay. I was not following hundreds of dudes. This Instagram that he is talking about is my personal Instagram, which you guys all saw last night. This Instagram was... He just tried to make me look so horrible. And it was just a lot of exaggeration, and, maybe people... And I know I'm not going to get as much traction on this, but I follow 260 people. And as a normal person, you're going to follow your high school guy friends. I don't even follow... I think the only, like, podcast person I follow is, like, Ruslan. But these are all my friends.
Okay? Again, I still can't. The hypocrisy pisses me off. It's not...
He's talking about the Instagram now, and he says a lot of horrible things about it.
This live is going to be public for a while.
He says a lot of horrible things about it, about my new Instagram. I'm going to tell you why I started this Instagram. I started this Instagram after I got my abortion, a week after I got my abortion. I was in the Bay Area at the time, and I lived in the Bay Area at the time, so I didn't really have friends. I don't have family up there. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to try something new and post archery and stuff like that. I let Abba know. The way Abba wants to interpret it, he's going to interpret it that way. I blocked everybody off this because it can be kind of like embarrassing almost if it like doesn't go well. I started January 31st. Ab and I started talking again February. My February posts were everything here. And he's saying I'm cheating on him because I posted these things. And he didn't want to show this one. And he was like, he said on this one that I turned around and showed my ass. I didn't. This was the post. Me in my uniform. I'm not a nurse, I'm something else, but archery. This. And then he said that I had archived a post. The reason I had archived a post was because he told me, show me the ones. But he's saying that I archived a post. Anyways, you're not going to understand it. He can point it out. But he told me to show him what I did on February, because that's when we were talking, right? These were all the posts. I had archived this one, which was March 2nd. And I had archived it because honestly it was like a little sexy, to be honest, but it was but not to hide it from him. I had archived it at the time, and this one was my last February one. He had asked me, show me all the ones that you did in February, and so that's what I sent him a screenshot of, and he was like, oh no, you're a liar. That's what he's talking about in the video. This Instagram was actually the catalyst of why, if you listen to his
Yeah, I'll leave it public. I don't mind.
Leave it
Raw and uncut, no editing, nothing.
like you did her.
You're hurt, and you're gonna regret it later. And you're hurt, and you're gonna.
Thank you very much for everybody that Donald.
So the members get their questions answered first, because the members are the most important.
The members. Golden member. That's my penis. I'm sorry.
How do you feel about her reaching out to content creators, trying to paint a narrative? That really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Okay, that was Watts. His name is Watts. I'm going to show you what I sent to Watts. So before getting into this, I didn't know if I wanted to get into it. I reached out to 3 content creators. Watts was one of them. And this is my conversation with Watts. And I wanted to pay for his opinion, but it wasn't to paint a narrative. I genuinely wanted an opinion for the people who knew the personality of ABBA. So not sure what happened, but I was like, hey, sorry, I deleted, because I keep going back and forth on how much I wanted to share. I did want to compensate you for your time. I'm not trying to like just have people spend time on me, especially if I'm making them watch like 20-minute videos, you know? I probably need about 1.5 hours of your time. I said something earlier. You can kind of read it there. I'm sure if I want to go out with this publicly. Okay, why me specifically? I subscribe to your channel and I've seen you cover their stuff. And I said, oh, and I'm not asking you to advocate for me. I just want an opinion. I sent him it like a week later whenever I finish. And then he says whatever he says. He says not to post it. I still post it. And thanks for watching. And yes, I did not expect you to talk about it for content. I wouldn't ask that. I reached out initially for an opinion, which you gave me, so thanks for that. I came in knowing what people are going to wonder who I am and what Abbasid was and all that stuff. And I thought it was respectful. I was not trying to paint a narrative with him. I wanted an honest opinion. And, I don't think I was like, hey, like, can you do this? I wasn't trying to attack. You know, I didn't go in it like being like, hey, I'm going to pay you if you can do this.
Bro,
It's loser. It's loser thing.
Mm-hmm. I
Wow.
don't know if that's much.
I'm not. It's just disappointing. You care about somebody, you try to go things with a good foot forward, and to find out they're doing all this other stuff, it's like, you're hurt, and you're gonna regret it later, and you're gonna realize how stupid you look.
Okay. So this gets me upset also. You're hurt. You try to leave it off with a good foot. Remember how I told you there was a catalyst to why I decided to do any of this in the first place? And that was because of ABBA. When he found that Instagram, I already gave you feedback. I gave you feedback on the reason why I started it. And he's talking about me cheating on him. He said I cheated on him because I made that Instagram and that I hid it from him. I never hid it from him. Remember he was saying that I told him it was about archery, but I don't want to show it to anybody yet. I have everyone blocked off of it. I don't know how I can show proof. I can say like I had everyone blocked off of it. But I don't think that's important because he's saying like I don't want to show him. He, you know, with how much he exaggerated everything, I think you can kind of believe him saying like I never showed it to him, didn't want to show it to him. I had everyone blocked off of it. So 3 weeks after we say our goodbyes, which was on good terms, and he just said, you try to leave everything off with a good foot. He says, I wake up to a ton of messages. And he's saying, I'm sure you'd suck dick if ChatGPT told me to, loser, grow the fuck up. If chat told, oh, there you go. IG messages, which I'm going to go through right now. He calls me pathetic and I'm a pathological liar. And he's saying I cheated on him. And the only reason why he's saying I'm cheating on him is because I made that Instagram. The month of February, we were still trying to see where things went. And we weren't official. He had canceled many flights. Were we trying to see each other? Yes. We were couple-ish, but it was still very rocky. It was very complicated during that time. And you know what? Say we were together. I don't think that this would be cheating. Number one, he did say that I told him about it. He's saying that I didn't want to show him specifically. I didn't want to show anybody because it was a new page. He's calling me whore here. He's calling me slut. And I'm going to post the entire thread at the end. And when you read this, or maybe I'm going to post it on my shorts. When you read this, he's going to sound very convincing. And he's going to say that I was jealous like he did here. He's going to say that I hid it from him, which I didn't hide it from him. If that proof needs to be pulled up, okay. And he's saying like, you're a cheating whore, you know what, I won't do this thing you call me, like, if you feel bad, feel free to resend every penny spent on your whoring self, and then he's just like, just send me my money, you'll always have panic and anxiety attacks. And if you read this, our dynamic was always this, him getting really upset, which I'm trying to illustrate for you guys, and then me saying like stuff like this. I love you to this day. I think about you. One thing I realize though is that you will always laugh and make me feel like I deserve pain. So many instances, I've just begged you not to block me or believe me, and I look so pathetic. I love you and I always will. I believed you now that you just like to see me like this. And you can read stuff like that. And he's also saying that I was cheating on him because I was commenting on the post. And one thing you're gonna see here is he keeps on sending me the same exact message over and over again of me hearting stuff and saying that I'm doing this for attention. And one thing I think here's another thing too, hiding IG, and where she talks about random men and posts slutty pictures for attention. The Instagram wasn't completely whorish or slutty. Am I flirting with the camera a bit? Yes, I am. But he's like, you're a cheater. And then I block him here. I'm like, I'm blocking you. And I'm constantly just like, I don't deserve this. This is the final time I was like, I'm standing up for myself. We had a conversation on Facebook that you just see me being, I'm always saying sorry. I'm always like saying sorry for things that I didn't do wrong, but it's just to calm everything down and de-escalate. And honestly, I kind of look like a little bitch a little bit, to be honest. I probably didn't have backbone. Is it embarrassing for me to say? It is embarrassing for me to say. Do I want everyone to know that? No. But the dynamic is when Abba escalated, he became a certain way. And look, he's just like, you quit, you lied, you cheated. And posting the same pictures. And in these pictures, I send this picture. Oh, sorry, you can't see it, but I send this picture of like a guy sending me a DM. And I tell my friend like, oh, I'm not interested. I'm still paying reverence to the relationship with Abba. And then I also show him a screenshot saying like, I'm not really interested in this stuff. And he's sending me the same pictures, but he's constantly calling me a whore. And then I send him this really long thing. I'm gonna post this so you guys can get the hint of what I experienced, and I'll post that at the end. This wasn't supposed to be my second video. I did want to address it, and I didn't want it to be tit for tat. I didn't want it to be like he said, she said, but they really tried to paint me in this narrative like I'm manipulative and I'm crazy and that I lied about everything and that I really wanted to be with Abba, but then I like cheated on him with creating this Instagram. Again, that month of February, we weren't together, but even if we were together, is that cheating? Saying it was a message on ChatGPT talking about like ways to push your pictures into the algorithm and or your stuff into the algorithm, and it said comment on all of the comments. I kept sending this screenshot to Abba too, so like he knows, like, and he's a content creator, he should understand how the algorithm works. And I kept sending him screenshots about like how to push your picture into that or your reels into the algorithm. It says to respond to every comment. So there's like 100 comments and I'm responding hearts and okays or like laughing emojis to everything. And then I wake up to all of these messages once again, calling me a whore, calling me pathetic, telling me to grow the fuck up, telling me I'm a slut. And this was my experience with him. This was the last straw that I was like, I can't be treated like this anymore. And I know regarding the pregnancy, the pregnancy is going to go either way. I talked about the pregnancy because people didn't really know how I felt about it. Well, which was like, again, Abba, he said I was toxic. Consider Abba probably being toxic too. Just consider it. Please just consider that, if someone says like their ex is completely crazy, is it that their ex is completely crazy, or are they making them that way, or are they the toxic one? I never said that Abba was toxic in my first video. I said there were things that he did that I even shied away from, but I didn't say Abba was completely crazy. I was bringing it into light. But I know that small detail, that small incident of the incident of the Instagram was like a stupid reason to want to bring this forward. But when I tell you that's how Abba treated me all the time for like little things, and how he would call me certain things all the time, I just had to stand up for myself. And that's what the truth is. The truth is, it's like, how come Abba can't be held to the same standard? People are telling me why I'm putting my stuff out there. And truly, it's just to stand up for myself. I experienced something with Abba that was not okay. I feel like he treated me very wrong in a lot of ways. And I tried so hard to leave it with mutual respect. And then I wake up 3 weeks later to just once again, him talking to me like this. All that stuff, yeah, but you guys only saw 20 minutes of it. You guys saw 2 hours of Abba. I was saying I'm human in this too, and I know Abba is also, but he did fabricate and lie a lot on stream.